Economic significance of GMO canola crops, presented by Zara Hicks. Topics being discussed. What is GM canola? What are their benefits? How can GM canola affect a farmer? Cost of weed control. How GM canola can affect the buyer/end user. Economic perception of GM canola. Potential disadvantages of GM canola, potential long-term effects and benefits of GM canola prices. What is GM canola and what are their benefits? Genetically modified GM crops are plants which are used in the agricultural industry where the plant's DNA has been modified through gene technology. For example, resistant to certain pests, diseases and herbicides, tolerant to environmental conditions such as frost or drought, increased production of nutrients such as omega-3 oils. GM farming has been allowed in South Australia to be commercially cultivated in all areas except Kangaroo Island from late 2022. GM farming is becoming a new technology for farmers, having many benefits such as higher yields, better grain quality, higher production rates per hectare, reducing production costs, easier rotation of pesticides and herbicides, all resulting in higher profits. How can GM canola affect a farmer? GM canola can help improve farming practices and incomes due to land prices increasing dramatically while having a significant increase at the same rate. Farmers are required to increase their prices without increasing inputs in order to break even in drought years. Ways in which GM canola can help assist farmers is to utilize a wider range of crop herbicides to suppress and kill weeds without removing soil moisture from the soil that the plant can utilize for crop growth. Cost of weed control. GM canolas have given us the opportunity to utilize generic herbicides in order to kill weeds in the crop. For example, Roundup Ready canola will allow the application of Roundup throughout the growing season in comparison to a conventional canola which is limited to early stages of plant growth. Although Roundup Ready canola comes at a higher cost, it allows the farmer to have more flexibility and use of cheaper chemicals on the market in the spraying program. Application costs can vary depending on the type of machinery being used, such as a spray plane, which is very expensive when comparing to a pull-behind type of sprayer. With the addition of Clearfield and TT canola, it has allowed farmers to adapt their rotations to more suitable chemical programs to achieve the cheapest weed suppression throughout the growing seasons. With an increased cost in chemicals such as Roundup, which has doubled in price, this will push farmers to start to use other types of GM canolas such as Clearfield and TT canola. How GM canola can affect the buyer/end user. GM canola has the same end use as conventional canola, such as for oil and margarine and cooking oils. GM canola has an increased yield and oil content, resulting in the supply being increased without having an increase in demand. This can have an overall effect on the price, as more people will want to make the change to GM canola, having the potential of a surplus, and the price can drop due to not having as many buyers for the extra canola that is being produced. Due to the canola being genetically modified, this can have the potential to have health disadvantages, having an increased risk in allergy and toxicity. Economic perception of GM canola can become too risky due to the upfront seed costs compared to conventional canola, having an increased use of herbicides due to the resistance of mode of action from being genetically modified, decreasing the selling price due to having an increased yield and oil percentage, resulting in having such a higher demand, issues with storage at harvest time and carrying costs. Potential disadvantages of GM canola. There is seen to be many potential disadvantages of GM canola. Some are initial upfront costs, the potential of having large loss from drought, having the risk of cross-contamination with other canola varieties that may have not been GM. As a result of this not occurring, it is important to implement segregation practices of GM canola and conventional canola varieties. This is extremely important, especially when entering the grain market. This can be a potential issue when harvesting with cross-contamination, and it is suggested that a thorough cleaning down prior and post-harvesting of GM canola. Since having the introduction of GM canola, there has been an increased use of glyphosate, resulting in an increase in price. Biodiversity, which the introduction of GM canola can have some negative impacts on the non-targeted organisms as well as soil and water or ecosystems. Logistics have proven to be another disadvantage when GM canola. This is because not every grain site will receive GM canola, therefore being limited to where growers and carriers can deliver, where they might have to travel further in order to deliver their grain. This can be costly when associating it to operation and carrier costs, as well as becoming inefficient as trucks may not be able to keep up with headers and storage which is available on farm, which could mean the farmer will need to upgrade their storage availability. There can be a potential risk in association of herbicide resistance in weeds. This is due to having a repeated use of glyphosate in paddocks year after year when GM canola is being grown. This can result in potentially loss of pre-plant knockdown weed control across crop rotations. Potential long-term effects of GM canola prices. Long-term effects of GM canola occurs from the added problems with growing, harvesting and trading of canola. Long-term effects of GM canola prices are influenced by commercial pressures, product description, product specifications, segregation, product safety, accountability and disclosure. All of these factors result in making it harder for the farmers to interact with the cultivation and trade in the GM canola, therefore having an impact on the market structure. In addition, the trials being conducted have indicated that by having and growing Roundup Ready canola is producing roughly $150 per hectare yield improvement in comparison to TT canola due to having heavily increased yields. Potential benefits and how they can be proven. Data has shown that GM canola weed management systems in comparison to TT can reduce the pre-emergent herbicide environmental footprint by 56%, having a reduced post-emergent herbicide environmental footprint by 49%, as well as an overall reduced weed control environmental footprint by 60%. GM canola weed management systems can allow farmers to have the adaptation of conservation tillage practices such as reduction rate of 29% use of cultivation for weed control, having an increase of 39% of lower soil impact from cultivation through equipment for weed management, having an increase of 5% by direct drilling from crop establishment, as well as a 16% reduction in fuel consumption, as well as the emissions of compounds like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and oxides of nitrogen in the atmosphere. Thank you for listening.